Know the ideal level of the water in your fish pond. What should be the level of your water in your pond? I've visited several farms and I realized that some farmers keep the water level very minimal, where you can just easily see the fish on the bottom. And when I inquired, they gave me two reasons. One is to save water, and that the second reason is even funny. That is give them more oxygen. Unfortunately, the second reason is rather the opposite. Keeping the water minimum rather reduces oxygen. Now let's move deep into that. Each level, that is keeping your water at the highest capacity or at the brim, and also keeping it at a lower level, both has its advantages and disadvantages. But all things being equal, the right way and the right level of your water in your pond should be at the equilibrium, or should be at the capacity of the pond, as you can see. For instance, this fish pond, the height of the pond is about 4 feet. What I do is that I'll fill in the water and leave just 1 feet unfilled. The reason is that if I say you should fill it to the capacity, I don't mean fill it till it's overflowing. If it is overflowing, it means that the fish are going to swim out or they're going to jump out, which you don't want to do. You want to avoid that. So leave little space unfilled so that they will not be able to jump out. But make sure that you have enough water. The advantages of having enough water are numerous. First and foremost, it gives the fish more space to live in the water. Let me give you a scenario. Assuming many of you are kept in a room. The room is smaller as compared to your number. And in that small space, the room roof is also shorter, where you cannot even raise yourself. You will hit the roof. And you are forced to just bend in the room. How will you feel? You will not feel comfortable. The same thing applies to the fish. When you give them little water, they don't have more space to move. They are only at the bottom. They can't come out like this. They can't go out like this. And that is very bad for them. Such can increase stress among them. And cannibalism. I have a video on cannibalism. Check that out in the description. Now, another reason you should keep your fish pond water at the maximum level is also that when the water level is higher, the fish, they react to environment. They react to the weather in the water, depending on the depth of the water. For instance, when the sun is hot afternoon, especially if you don't have trees or your pond covered, hot afternoon, when you come and observe your fish pond, you will not see the fish. They'll all be at the bottom of the pond. And when the weather too is cooled, very cooled, and you come there and you observe, you will realize that they are also on the surface of the pond. This indicates that there are times they want deep, they'll be in the water deeply. There are times they want to be floating. Now you have not given them that room. You just give them small. What will they do? They have no option. Another third reason why you should have the water to the capacity is also that when you leave the water small, the waste produced by the fish, such as their feces, and the uneaten or the leftover feed, it makes the water to dirty easily. Within 2-3 days, the water becomes thick and smelling because they defecate. They also leave some feed uneaten. All these are waste, and that waste will make the water dirty. The fourth reason is that keeping the water at the highest capacity also increases aeration. If I say aeration, that is adding oxygen into your fish pond. Whether natural aeration or mechanical aeration such as this, any of these, having the water at the highest level helps in the aeration system. Now, if I added the aeration, this is the aerator pump. The aerator pump is a submersible pump. It must always be in water. Now, if the water is not at the maximum, the pump will be exposed, and that can spoil the pump. If you're not using aerator system, I'm not saying you also have that, but at least if you have it at the highest capacity, the movement of the wind, that's the natural wind, is adding oxygen to the pond. But now that you keep it at the minimum level, it's dangerous. It depletes the oxygen. I said earlier that having enough or having little water in your pond increases stress and mortality. I'll give you a scenario. There was a time that we were harvesting our fish. We reduced the water level and leave them at the bottom. So we harvested some. I wanted to harvest another batch 2-3 days time. We decided that we will not top up the water. We will just leave it at a minimum. And then first day, second day, the weather was very cool. It was okay. Then the third day, around 2 p.m., I noticed that the fish were struggling. And I haven't found 2 dead fish already. I checked in the pond and realized that the temperature of the water has changed. The water is now hot, and it makes it uncomfortable for them. So quickly, we moved the fish from that pond to another pond, which was full of water. Despite that, we lost some fish even after moving them. Now, that is what I was telling you. The level of the water is influenced by the weather. Now, if the quantity is great like this, no matter how hot the sun is, it will be difficult to make all this water to be hot. But if it is small, oh, it will become hot easily. Especially if you are using tarpaulin pond or plastic pond like these ones. Concrete pond and earthen pond, better. But they also become hot if the water is small. So you need to take note. But that is being said, that doesn't mean that keeping the water at the minimum level has no also benefits. There are times you need to keep the water at the minimum level. For instance, during harvest, if you're going to harvest your fish, I bet you, if the water level is like this, you're going to harvest this fish, you're going to struggle a lot because the fish are smarter than you think. Either you're going to use scooping net or dragging net, and it's going to even be impossible to use dragging net in this pond. Once you scoop, they are running away from you. But when you drain the water to the minimum level, where you can easily corner them or push them at the corner and harvest them, that's best for you. So do the harvesting time or do the harvesting, you have to keep your water minimum. Another time to keep your water minimum and it will help you is sorting. When you're going to separate your fish from, you are going to separate and group them according to their sizes. That way, you reduce the water level. You can easily see the fish and you sort them or you select them. That's another best time. Another time to keep your water minimum, which is where our end is when you are going to treat them. Assuming you are going to apply bitter leaves or salt or antibiotics or whatever treatment that you want to give your fish, or your fish is not well, then you want to observe them and possibly give them treatment. At that time, so it's good to keep the water minimal. So that when you put in the medicine, it's going to be more effective than having plenty water in your pond. These are the three situations you should keep your water minimal. And like I said, all things being equal, if there's no reason to keep it minimum, make sure that you have enough water in your pond to give more space for your fish to swim and to enjoy. Don't squeeze them by leaving a small water for them to struggle. They have life just like you. Treat them as such. Please, if you found value in this video, please kindly subscribe. And there's a saying that when a frog in front fall into a pit, others behind take caution. We have been in the system, though we are learning, but the do's and don'ts, the ups and downs, and the experience, we have put it together in an ebook form for you. It's a guide, comprehensive step-to-step guide from stocking to harvesting. Check that book out in the description and thank me later. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Abdulaziz Issa and this is Falco Aquaponics.